with our Morning Live experts as well. Now, over recent years, home teeth whitening kits have been soaring in popularity as millions look to get the perfect smile on a budget.
But in a Morning Live exclusive, dentist Dr. Rona Iskander has been investigating how products sold online contain illegal amounts of hydrogen peroxide, a chemical that could cause lasting damage.
A set of pearly whites used to be just for Hollywood movie stars, but today teeth whitening is much more common, and there are even products to do it yourself at home. Home kits use the same key ingredient as these dentist kits, hydrogen peroxide, which helps turn teeth to white. I use it in my dental surgery too.
It can be extremely effective, but if not used correctly, it can be extremely dangerous. Hydrogen peroxide, when it comes into close contact with the gums, can cause damage if it's left on for a very long period of time. When you go to a dentist, they take a mould of your teeth or scans and provide well-fitting bespoke trays for your teeth.
This helps reduce the risk of damage to the gums by hydrogen peroxide seeping out. In the dentist chair, we're allowed to use products containing up to a maximum 6% of the chemical, but teeth whitening is not a cheap procedure, which is why people are tempted to try and do it themselves. Product strengths can legally vary from country to country, but sales in the UK are restricted to home whitening kits that only contain 0.1% hydrogen peroxide, 60 times weaker than solutions dentists are allowed to use. And that's because if you do it at home, too much of that harmful chemical can damage your gums, which is exactly what happened to Connor Ripley from Preston. Connor applied teeth whitening strips dreaming of a brighter smile, but the results were not what he hoped for.
Just like a little strip where you just put it straight over your teeth. And we basically slept in them. And it was, especially when you're taking them off the next morning, it was extremely sensitive.
Out of 10, I want you to tell me, just how bad was the pain from using these strips?
Like an 8 or something like that. It was where I couldn't really eat, I couldn't really drink. I got really red and burnt gums, and eventually it was that bad I got like an ulcer in the top right of my gum.
Do you think there was any long-term or long-lasting effects that it did have on your gums or teeth?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say that it has. I do have sensitive teeth now, and they are overly sensitive, so I have to be a bit more wary of it, really.
The product Connor used had been bought online and imported from America. While kits with a higher hydrogen peroxide content can be sold legally in the US, they're restricted in the UK by our tighter regulations. The kit Connor used contained a staggering 226 times more hydrogen peroxide than is allowed in home teeth whitening kits in this country. But he also chose to go against the instructions and kept the product on overnight, so it's unsurprising he had such major issues.
Cases like Connor are not uncommon. I'm seeing more and more people walk through my door with issues from tooth whitening products purchased online. The problems range from generalised sensitivity, gum issues, and in some extreme cases, enamel loss.
While the laws are strict about the strength of teeth whiteners being sold over the counter, many people are turning to websites where stronger whiteners are being sold illegally. To find out how easy it is to get hold of these products and to see how much hydrogen peroxide is actually in them, the Morning Live team ordered 5 products from a range of online outlets. Each cost no more than £25 and were delivered in the UK. I've come to Kent Scientific Services to meet Scientific Officer Ollie Wallace.
I am going to try and quantify the amount of hydrogen peroxide in these teeth whitening kits. So when we start mixing in the sulfuric acid and the various other chemicals, if there is hydrogen peroxide present, there will be a bright colour change from a clear liquid to a dark red liquid.
The darker the colour, the more hydrogen peroxide there is. The first product we are testing is the Fun Chic teeth whitening kit bought on Amazon.
We had 3 drops of this.
Wow, you can see the colour really changing almost immediately, which I suppose shows you how quickly the peroxide one comes into contact with something. Yeah. Oh my gosh, is that a very dark red? That is a dark red.
Yeah, it is a dark red.
By neutralising this mixture and turning it colourless, Ollie can accurately tell us how much hydrogen peroxide is in the product.
How much hydrogen peroxide is in there?
It worked out to be 3.58%.
3% is above the legal dose that's allowed over the counter. So that's one product down, and we've got 4 more to go.
Of the 5 products we tested, all of them contained more hydrogen peroxide than is legally allowed in home whitening kits in the UK. 2 of the kits contained more of the chemical than is allowed to be used by dentists. The product with the highest concentration of hydrogen peroxide was Crest 3D White, bought from AliExpress at 22.6%. This was the product that Connor used. Second highest was the oral gel polish pen kits we bought from wish.com, which contained 9.2% hydrogen peroxide, followed by Ultradent teeth whitening gel, also bought from AliExpress, which had 5.24% hydrogen peroxide. An unbranded teeth whitening kit bought on eBay contained 3.63% hydrogen peroxide, and the Fun Sheet teeth whitening gel bought on Amazon contained 3.58% of the chemical. What's worrying is how unsafe these products can be if not used correctly.
For those of you that need a little bit more convincing, we have one last test.
For this, we are going to use one of the oral gel polish pen kits. It had the second highest concentration of hydrogen peroxide of all the products we tested.
Gosh, look how quickly the tissues are going white. It's crazy. We can see just how much the hydrogen peroxide has damaged the steak. There's bubbling, there's fizzing. The structure has turned white in colour, and I'm sure some of it has even dissolved. There's definitely some of the steak that's coming away as I'm pushing on the tissues.
And if it's done this to steak, just think what it could do to your gums. As a dentist, I'd obviously recommend a professional course of treatment supervised by your practice, but if you do whiten at home, stick to the lower concentrations approved for use in the UK.
After all, it's important to have healthy teeth rather than damage them in the pursuit of a Hollywood smile.